Relationships drive revenue. Revenue drives growth. Path turns relationships into a predictable growth engine. Growth in the mortgage industry has become inconsistent and hard to scale. Most organizations don't struggle with a strategy. They struggle with consistency. Growth rises and falls based on markets, personalities, and a handful of strong leaders who know how to effectively recruit. When your growth depends on individuals instead of a system, it becomes unpredictable. Acknowledging recruiting isn't the problem. Today, many organizations are looking for a magic formula and are spending more of their revenue on recruiters, marketing, and job boards. Yet outcomes don't scale evenly. That's because the issue isn't access to candidates. It's the absence of a leadership system for hiring experienced producers. An experienced loan officer is not a typical hire, they're an acquisition. They bring a book of business, referral relationships, market credibility, and immediate volume. From an executive standpoint, this is closer to acquiring a small company than filling a seat. The problem is most organizations don't have a repeatable way to do that. Most recruiting depends on a few strong leaders with natural recruiting instincts, outside headhunters, or centralized teams. That works sporadically, but it doesn't scale. When those people leave, growth leaves with them. Executives can't effectively manage what isn't systematized for a consistent outcome. This requires a mindset shift. Recruiting experienced producers is not an HR activity. It's a leadership-driven acquisition strategy. When leaders are trained to attract people consistently, acquisition becomes predictable. Path Growth Engine is a people-first leadership platform designed to help organizations consistently acquire revenue-generating producers. Path stands for people attraction through hiring. Attraction is how people choose. Hiring is how organizations grow. Path connects the two. Path is not a recruiting program. It's not a headhunter replacement. And it's not a motivational course. It is a leadership growth platform that installs repeatable hiring behavior at the sales leader level. The goal is to turn acquisition into an operating discipline, not a hope. Path is powered by the Recruiting Roadmap Operating System. This is the execution framework leaders run. It defines attraction, engagement, and hiring behaviors with a weekly and monthly cadence. Path reduces dependence on internal recruiters or headhunters. It gives every regional and branch sales leader the same operating cadence while preserving autonomy. That's how leadership scales without adding layers. Let's quantify this. An experienced loan officer producing $25 million annually at a 175 basis points margin represents roughly $437,500 in gross revenue. If your organization consistently acquires just 2 of those producers per region per month, that's $875,000 in incremental monthly revenue per region. Path exists to make that acquisition repeatable instead of accidental. With Path, executives gain visibility into activity before results. You see who is building acquisition momentum, where leadership gaps exist, and where future growth will come from. This creates a bench instead of reacting to departures. Do we want growth to remain personality-driven, or do we want a system leaders can run? Path Growth Engine gives leadership teams the ability to choose. With Path, executives gain visibility into activity before results. You see who is building acquisition momentum, where leadership gaps exist, and where future growth will come from. This creates a bench instead of reacting to departures. What you've seen is a leadership-driven growth platform. Path turns relationships into revenue, and revenue into predictable growth. It starts small, one region, clear expectations, measured behavior, coaching. Then it scales based on what we can see and quantify. If this sounds like the kind of platform that could take your organization to the next level, that's the conversation we should be having.